Hey, welcome to another Studio Takes. Dane Scott here along with Pocket Frog.
What's up?
And today is an exciting day for me because I get to introduce to you the new voice of the intro on Studio Takes. She won the contest. You're going to find out about her and meet her next.
Studio Takes. Real help for the aspiring voiceover artist and Fiverr entrepreneur.
What you just heard is the voice of our new intro lady. She won the contest that we had on Facebook, and here she is coming up right now. Isn't that a great face? The new face behind the voice of our Fiverr intros. This is Jessica Pina. Am I saying it right with the Enya on there?
Yeah, Pena.
Pina or Pena, something like that.
Pena.
Okay, all right. And we were. It's so funny because just today we did a gig doctor together, and I really had not, gotten down into the nitty gritty yet of like who was going to end up doing this, and I got so many really fabulous people doing the auditions for the intro that it was a killer. I was mentioning online, it was just an absolute killer to try and decide because it suggests that the other people were somehow not as good, and they were all great. There was something about your tone that just seemed like it's just fit just right with what I was shooting for, and that's the reason you got it. And there's a reason for that, because you have a really, really nice voice. I noticed that today when we were sitting, talking about your gig doctor thing. One of the things we do in gig doctor, if it's a voiceover related thing, is to kind of analyze the voice and try to suit the gig listing to the voice. So how would you describe your voice? What words come to mind for you as you're thinking about your own voice?
I would say that mine tends to be, it's a voice that knows what it's talking about. I sound like I know what I'm talking about.
Authoritative, yeah. Not yes. Authoritarian, but authoritative. Like, you got this under control, but at the same time, there's a pleasantness to it. And it also is an alto voice. And so you can market yourself as being a fairly deep voice. And, there's a market for that, as we were talking about today. Give me a little background on yourself, Jess.
So I am in Maine. Mm-hmm. I do voiceover full time. And I also stay home with my kids during the day. And so I've been on Fiverr for a couple years now, actually 2 years this month. And I've been working on reaching out. I'm starting to build things up bigger, I guess you could say, because my kids are getting ready to be at school all day. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to have lots of time. And so I'm working on amping it up to do that.
So when you say that you're doing this full time, it means full time to the extent that you can take time away from the kids to work on it, basically.
Right.
Yeah. I know.
Working evenings.
I remember those days, really do. And so it's your full time income is the important thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so you're doing more than just Fiverr right now for voiceover.
Yes, I am. I do audiobooks as well. And so I do on ACX and stuff like that. So that's probably the bulk of my voiceover stuff that I do as far as time that's being, applied to it. But Fiverr is the main income, I'm going to say. It's the main income. I do have other random side jobs that come in occasionally, like e-learning things, things like that, some commercials and stuff too. So,
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, what got you started in all this?
Actually, because I was born and raised in Phoenix, and I lived there till I was 37. So we moved here to Maine, and I've been here for 3 years now. And I didn't want to stay in insurance. I was in insurance for 16 years, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do it. And so I was literally sitting at the dinner table, and my husband was like, well, you like reading books. Why don't you try narrating audiobooks? And I was like, okay, let's try that. Let's see how it goes. And it started, and then I found, a couple of, our colleagues here, and found Fiverr, and that they do voiceover on Fiverr. And I was like, shoot, why not just pop into that? Let's see how that goes.
You just had somebody on Facebook today asking, gosh, how do I know when I can cut the cord and move on, and actually do this thing full time? What was your criteria for that?
Basically that I wasn't going to go upside down as far as like bills, if you know what I mean. And so I was lucky enough where I was kind of forced into it too, because literally because I did it last summer. And so last summer with everything with, COVID and all that stuff, my kids' daycare had shut down like permanently. And so I was like, oh, well, time to jump. And so, because I was really holding off, I really wanted to get far more income. But the thing is that we could have taken a little bit of a hit financially, and I just did it. And that was the best thing I could have ever done.
And the fact is that you were able to move pretty darn fast, actually. You brought it from ground zero, from 0 to 60 pretty quickly. So it's not that cannot be done. And that might be an encouragement to some of the people that are watching and listening to this today, too. The fact that if you really apply yourself, you can make fast progress. There is a kudo to that. And that is you have to be able to do it. You got to have the skills, you got to have the chops for it. And you came into it obviously with some of the instinct so that you could flap your wings and actually take to the sky without someone having to, or to use the kite analogy, without having someone on the ground running with you for a long time till you could get up in the air. You got going pretty quick.
Yeah, exactly. And the biggest struggle that I had, though, was probably the fear factor. You get all up in your head and you're just like, okay, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do this. Thing is that when the time comes, you're going to know it's time. And you just make the jump and go. And just know that, well, this is going to happen whether I like it or not. So, because then you're just like, okay, I'm doing it. And just have the ambition to do so, really, in the ambition and the courage, because it doesn't mean I wasn't scared. I was terrified, but it had the courage to override that so that I didn't back out of it. And the thing is, it's the best thing I could have ever done. I should have done it earlier, frankly.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was a kind of a midlife decision. I had done some voiceovers in my 30s, probably even in my 20s. Because I was in radio, I was obviously doing them in a way too, but I was also starting to do them on the side where I traveled to studios and things. But, there was a point where I just started thinking, maybe I can actually make this jump. And so I kind of waited till I was making as much on the side as I was at the radio station. So in my part-time work, I was making as much as I was in my full-time work at the station. I thought, okay, if I can do that, I could probably jump from this bike over onto the other bike and just keep pedaling and be okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Hey, this was really fun. It was fun to meet with you earlier today, and now to have the chance to interview you. You're great on camera and a great guest, and maybe we can have you back sometime. Stick around after our interview today because I want to just talk with you about a couple of things. But this has been Jessica today, the winner of our contest and the new intro voice of Studio Takes. Say hi to Pocket Frog before you go.
Hi.
Welcome aboard.
Talk to you again soon.
All right, thank you.
You give me a call.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, I think.
Hello, cutie pie.
Until I heard the voice, I'd never done a crazy thing in my whole life.
Goodbye.